Welcome, Fifth Downers. This is the Fifth Down Fantasy Football Podcast with your host, K-Mill, and to my left, Johnny Slokes.
What up?
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about today. We are going to go over some quick news and notes, and we're going to get into us doing a mock draft and explaining our picks. We didn't get to finish the whole mock draft, didn't have enough time, but we got the majority, the meat and potatoes of it.
Eight rounds, got the starters taken care
exactly,
of.
Yeah. Really, we got all the starters taken care of. Really all that was left was the bench players. So we're going to go ahead and explain our picks, and we'll kick it over to Johnny here. What do you got for us for news and noteworthy stuff?
Well, first off, I'd like to apologize. This was supposed to be a live show on Rebel TV, but we had some technical difficulties. I'm basically, what it boils down to is I'm a dumbass.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so we're apologizing. We're going to do this, so we're doing the show offline. We're still part of the UNV network, so you can check us out there, but
yeah,
the big news about
we'll get back on Rebel TV next week. We'll get it figured out. Had a couple issues. Ended up being a little late, so we went ahead and just canceled it. So we're giving this to you tonight live, or not unlive, I'm sorry, but free of charge as always.
Yeah, fucking amateurs. So really the big news that I can think of, Aqib Talib got shot in the leg.
Yeah,
I'm updating my Twitter message from earlier. I said that his condition was unknown. He was later released from the hospital, so that's good news. He got very lucky.
Yeah, released. It's said to be a minor issue. Denver Post has already reported on it, saying that he isn't expected to miss any time. Totally a non-serious issue, so I guess he really dodged a bullet on that one.
No, I don't really think he dodged a bullet at all. I mean, it wouldn't be come to find out the size. Maybe he pulled off like a flexible burst.
I mean, I'm not talking literally, but the quote unquote was accidental. So we'll get back to you when we hear more news on that.
He pulled a flexible burst and shot himself.
And that's what I said, but who knows at this point. All right, any other news and noteworthy items in the news as far as fantasy football?
Seems like a lot of stuff's been covered over this past week, so we can just jump right into it.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump right into it.
So we did a mock draft on Yahoo. K-Mill picking up at the 4th spot. I was picking at the tail end on the 12th spot, and we just kind of went over like some players that we could have or could not have had. So we're gonna pick up with your first pick. Like, who would you take in the first round? You had the 4th pick overall.
Yeah, well, I ran into the 4th pick, so I had a lot of options at this point. I felt like Gronk was a little bit of a reach, so I went ahead and took what I thought was the obvious one, because it was actually funny. Le'Veon Bell went as number 1, so that was a little weird. I wasn't
expecting that at all.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
They went a little bit running back heavy in this first round.
Yeah, it was really weird. A lot of people, I thought, reached a little bit. You didn't think so much, but I felt like there was a little bit of reaching going on. I took David Johnson with the 4th overall. I think really the only other option I was mulling at that point was OBJ, because Antonio Brown just barely missed my spot. If you would have dropped another spot, I would have grabbed Antonio. But
Julio Jones was
Julio Jones was in the mix too. But given the comparisons in a PPR league, I like David Johnson just a little bit more than OBJ.
What was the first picks? It was Le'Veon Bell, then it was Gurley.
Yeah, it was Gurley second.
Then it was Brown.
I felt like Gurley was a little bit of a reach.
Wasn't the 4th pick overall? Wasn't that Adrian Peterson?
No, it was. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was AP.
That one surprised me too.
Yeah, that one. I think I felt like AP went way too early.
That's a guy I was expecting to fall to me.
Yeah. I was actually very surprised. Antonio Brown nearly fell to me with the number 4, and I was very surprised about that, because in a lot of
you've been very happy to have him there.
Oh, I would have loved that. Yeah, that would have been great. Falling to me at number 4, that's great value. You look at a lot of these sites, and they have Antonio Brown as the consensus number 1. So, it's that would have been nice to have him at 4. But no, I like David Johnson. Going to be a PPR monster next year. I like the durability of him. Running backs last year were really fragile, so you want to make sure maybe in the later rounds you grab a handcuff. But I really like that David Johnson pick at number 4.
I mean, there's some other people that you could have taken there. Most of them seem to be like wide receivers. Was right around that area.
Yeah, and and it just came down to I was really more OBJ and Julio Jones. But
according to a fantasy football calculator, your pick was a little bit reached. It looks like he's been going 8th pick overall from average for most drafts.
Yeah,
so you went a little stretch for him, but this draft was a little bit different than most drafts.
Yeah, I like him more.
Maybe the running backs that came off the board before yours kind of like urged you to kind of lean more towards the running back.
Well, I almost shit my pants when Antonio Brown fell to me, but when I couldn't get Antonio Brown, there was one other player I liked more than him in the first round, and that was David Johnson. I feel like in my drafts, if I can't get Antonio Brown for some reason, I'm really looking and seeing if David Johnson falls to me because I really like him as a player. Not just that, I like it. I like his value where he sits. And I think number 4, you could probably get me on the I reached a little bit, but I like where I got him at.
I mean, for me this year, there's so many wide receivers that I like. Like I want to get at least 2 of them within those first 3.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and you brought a lot of ones up that I wasn't even thinking about, and that's actually really good. So let's talk about your number 1 pick, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I was getting a little bit excited too. I thought that Gronk was going to fall me in that 12th spot. Like I was real excited. I was real excited to draft him at that spot, but I think unfortunately he went like 10th overall. So I ended up I guess I could have done this either way because it was back-to-back picks, but I went receiver. I went AJ and Dez. I know.
Yeah, that was sweet. I like that.
I know there's a little bit of question marks about Dez, but what he represents when he's healthy is something that he's getting you 1,300 yards and he's getting you double-digit touchdowns. I think they're both getting you double-digit touchdowns.
I think that he represents somebody that's worth the risk.
Yeah, AJ Green's good for like 2 40-point games every year, and it's 2 monster games.
Yeah, you really just knocked down you had 2 wide receiver ones right there.
So I mean, there's some other guys that were on the board that I could have looked at, like I wasn't really feeling good about a Brandon Marshall at that spot.
Yeah, I didn't like him either.
But the other guy that I was considering was on Alshon Jeffrey. I feel like he warrants a spot like that at the tail end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I like really
that. He nearly fell to me too, which I was about to just take him. He was ripe for the picking, but not quite.
We've talked about the second round.
Yeah, in the second round, he almost fell to me.
Yeah, there's really only like 2 running backs I was really considering. I mean, there's Lamar Miller that was there. I was considering him. Then, Jamal Charles. He's right around that area too. I didn't really want him.
Oh, yeah, I don't care for Jamal Charles either.
There was also a Doug Martin there, but I felt like I was a little bit too early. I just felt more comfortable. I thought I was getting more value getting 2 wide receivers there back-to-back.
I really liked your picks. You and me probably had the best 2 drafts out of anybody on our draft, and it was actually funny. We had some guys talking shit to each other via the little chat room on the draft on Yahoo, and we were just kind of like, well, let's see what they really do have, and they really didn't have much. I know one guy, he had Edelman, who oft injured, and then...
So, here's a question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
If you're in this situation, you get your choice between Alshon Jeffrey, AJ Green, Dez Bryant. You have to cut one, sign one, trade one.
Ooh, and that's a really tough one. See, I think I would go ahead.
Put you on the spot.
Ooh. Who was the third one? I know Dez Bryant, AJ Green, but then who's the third?
You got Dez Bryant, AJ Green, and then you got Alshon Jeffrey.
Ooh, okay, that's tough. I'd say Dez Bryant by name value carries the most trade value, so I think I would trade Dez, sign Jeffrey. That's such a tough question. You know what? I take that back. Sign AJ, trade Dez, and cut Jeffrey.
Wow. I mean, I think arguably Jeffrey has just as much skill as like an AJ or a Dez.
Exactly, yeah.
The only thing that I don't like about Jeffrey is his injury issues.
Exactly, and that's why I ended up doing that too.
I know Dez is coming off a foot injury, but he's typically a monster.
Oh yeah, well.
So I was like, okay, I kind of was leaning towards your answer a little bit too. I wasn't expecting you. I was expecting you to have a different answer, I guess. Yeah, no,
I was, and then I thought about it too, and then that was what came to mind too. It was actually funny that you mentioned it. Was that I thought of Alshon Jeffrey's injury issues, and that was what made me was like, that's such a tough question though, because they're all like great receivers. But and I think the only reason I put Dez as a trade is because he has more name value than Jeffrey.
I was in one of those like $25 Yahoo leagues, and like I was a guy that drafted Des Bryant. I drafted him in the first round. I drafted him first round and Gronk second round, back to back, because I had the 10th overall pick. It was a 10-person league, so I got Dez and then I got Gronk. I got two guys that are getting me 10 touchdowns a year. Well, obviously we know what happened to Dez, but I held on to him for most of the year. I just held on to him. I eventually traded him for. It wasn't a great trade, but it was like I traded him for Jeremy Hill. And I think it was Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I mean, I involved him in a trade too, and it was for Todd Gurley. So I think I won out on that trade.
You traded him for Gurley?
Yeah, Gurley.
Oh, was that the work league?
That was the work league. Yeah, I traded him. I got Gurley and Deshaun Jackson.
That league was a joke, man.
Yeah, we cleaned house on that.
We were trade raping everybody.
Yeah, it was. Nobody was really paying attention. But I ended up getting Gurley. D-Jax, and then I ended up giving Lacey and Dez, and obviously I won that trade. I mean, look at what happened with Lacey.
I traded Theo Riddick and Charles Sims for Brandon Cooks to roll.
That's hilarious. He actually, that same Matthew Roll, he ended up doing this trade too, and I'm sure he'll have something to say about this one, and he will talk it down all he wants. But he traded, what was it, Tyler Lockett for Gio Bernard, I think. Or no, he had Gio Bernard. He traded away Gio Bernard for Tyler Lockett last year.
Oh man,
yeah, that was horrible. Yeah,
you're too early.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You're too early.
Yeah, Lockett will be good this year. He'll be solid, but yeah, it was a little too much of a reach. But
so getting back on topic, it looks like the second round, what you went, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I like him right there.
Yeah, the seventh pick, was it?
Yeah, it was the seventh. Yeah,
seventh pick in the second round, Sammy Watkins. I mean, I'm sure there's quite a few players around there that had like similar.
Well, the one that it felt like a lot of people would be picking is Devonta Freeman, because he was still available when I picked him up.
Yeah, I was surprised he lasted a long time.
He did, yeah. And that actually kind of, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of mock drafts this year, but it seems to me like I'm not the only one that's a little bit skeptical of last season for Devonta Freeman.
I think people are catching on in the last draft we were doing. I mean, let's see what Fantasy Football Calculator has him at. They have him at second round, second pick as his average.
Yeah, so the fact that he fell to me was great, but I just, the only reason I would even think about drafting Devonta Freeman is if I knew I was playing in a league where I knew somebody overvalued him, because I could trade him and pretty much trade rape the guy.
I mean, I almost feel in order to draft him, you have to draft Coleman too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and then, you already know what one of your bench players is going to be. It's going to be Coleman if you get Freeman. So.
I feel like Coleman is a guy that's going to get more carries.
And then the problem with that too is if somehow you're not able to get Coleman and somehow somebody drafts Coleman and then you're like, hey, let me get Coleman later in the year, he's going to try to trade rape you because he knows how bad you want him, because you want to keep that
supply and demand.
Exactly. So I would rather have somebody that who he had a little bit of an injury issue last year, but Sammy Watkins, man, that dude, the back half of last year was just a complete monster.
You like what he represents, what he brings to the table.
Oh yeah,
I love it. He brings that big play aspect. He might be a little bit boomer bust a little bit, but
yeah, no,
he has that ability to bust off for 30 points. Or he has the ability to give you 2 points.
One game last year, he had 3 touchdowns. If there's even a possibility I can get 3 touchdowns out of that guy in one game, I want him. So, what would you get in the second round, Johnny?
That's what I got. I got Des Bryant.
That's right,
first
yeah.
Pick in the second round.
That's right. Yeah, all right, cool. Let's go to the third round. You picked before me, so...
I did not. You picked before I did.
You're right. All right, yeah, I went ahead and took Keenan Allen, and
the fact that he was there in the third round feels pretty good to taking him there, huh?
It was, yeah, and there was only really one other player that I was really considering there, and that was Aaron Rodgers. I love that. He really in a lot of leagues he's the consensus QB2. Aside from Cam Newton, he's that quintessential guy you want. So
I still feel like that fourth pick in the third round is a little too early for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting towards that territory a little bit, but I feel like you got more value getting a Keenan Allen. He's a guy that you got in the third round that he could end up being. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a top 5 receiver.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, you know what though, and we'll dip in this a little later, but I was able to get Andy Dalton in the in the 8th round. So
I've gotten them later than that. I've got
exactly.
I did like a lot of mock drafts this past week, and I got Andy Dalton in like the 12th, 13th round consistently.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what we're trying to say here is that, you know, really don't rush on the quarterback. Don't feel forced to get a quarterback early because there's going to be plenty of value later in the draft as far as quarterbacks go. So who'd you end up taking in the 3rd round, Johnny?
Well, obviously I went back-to-back picks in the 1st and 2nd round with receivers, so obviously I'm looking for a running back here. The best 2 that I really seen on the board was Anderson and Forte. I mean, also that was on the board that I could have drafted, I guess, was I could have got Thomas Rawls. He was right around there.
He's actually one of the players that we disagree about because
I'm not a big fan of his.
Yeah, see, and I am. I'm pretty high on Thomas Rawls. I think he's going to be, as long as he stays healthy, a pretty productive running back next year.
I'm just saying they drafted like 2 or 3 different running backs. CJ Posey looks like he's going to get some work this year. Maybe we'll see. Another guy I've been seeing going around like 11th, 12th round.
Yeah.
No
doubt.
So I was like, I kind of want to stay away from that backfield for right now at this point in the season. I could have went a Jordan Reed or Randall Cobb, but I didn't need a receiver.
No, I almost shit my pants when I had Jordan Reed fall to me. That was amazing.
So I went back to back. I went C.J. Anderson and Matt Forte. I'm hoping to get some nice value out of the C.J. Anderson. I'm getting him late in the 3rd round. I mean, I thought a little earlier than what I wanted to draft him at, but I feel like he could return some RB1 type numbers this year if he gives you the kind of production that you were expecting last year that you didn't get.
Right, exactly.
I mean, obviously we didn't do the second half of the draft, but C.J. Anderson and Matt Forte are guys that I like to draft their understudies too.
Yeah.
Like I would draft like a Hillman or a Devontae Booker, and I'd also want to look to draft like the Powell later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like I've been seeing Powell go around like the 10th, 11th round. Like that's right where you want to like back up your Matt Forte. He's an old guy. There's chances are he could get hurt. Yeah, be prepared, be ready for that.
Or you know the other thing that I'm bringing up with LT is sorry, not LT. He's part of my thought, but so the problem with drafting a Matt Forte for me is, you know, what if we hit that? You know, Matt Forte who's been a productive guy for so long in his career, and then you know he goes and he gets traded to the Jets from the Chargers, and or LT hit a wall. You know, so what I'm trying to say is that maybe Matt Forte maybe he'll put up some productive numbers, but you know if you're expecting what he did in Chicago, then I think you're overvaluing him a little bit.
Put it this way, in standard leagues, PPR leagues, like just pure PPR leagues, Matt Forte has been on RB1 every single year he's been in the league, even his rookie year.
Wow, I did not know that.
I think his rookie year, he was like a top 3 running back just because of receptions alone.
Yeah. No, and I completely agree with you. But then there's, in my mind, there's so many question marks in them. Is he going to fit into his new system? The Jets, they carry kind of a run-first offense anyways. So,
Here's the thing. Who's going to be their quarterback? It's not Fitzpatrick right now.
Yeah, well,
I feel like they're going to lean a little bit more towards like the dump-offs and like the runs, the short throws.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know. So that's part of my problem with Matt Forte. But, I mean, I do like where you drafted him. You drafted him for good value.
4th round.
That's good.
A guy that's usually an RB1 to get him in the 4th round. Like, I like that.
I like that value, too. Definitely like that value. My 4th round pick was a little bit different. I ended up getting Randall Cobb. So, started out with David Johnson. Got myself a Sammy Watkins, a Keenan Allen, then a Randall Cobb. So, I pretty much filled in my starting wide receiver spots right there. With the Randall Cobb pick, there wasn't really a whole lot that I liked there at that pick. Jonathan Stewart was obviously one I was mulling over, Eric Decker, but I think Randall Cobb with a healthy Aaron Rodgers and a full-blown Packers attacking offense. I mean, I just love that offense more than I like the Jets. And like I said, we don't know who's going to be the Jets quarterback next year. I like Randall Cobb a whole lot more.
I like Cobb more than I like Decker. The fact that he was a little bit exposed last year doesn't really bother you at all?
Sort of, but at the same time, I think I got him for good value in the 4th round. I really like where I got him at.
It seemed like he was running like some frustrating routes last year. Like he just wasn't running the right routes. Looked like he wasn't in as much sync as we thought he was with Aaron Rodgers.
We'll think about this.
I think the whole offense was just kind of out of sync. They didn't really have that true
number
deep
one
threat. Yeah,
true. I understand.
I think they'll look a lot. I think they'll look a lot better now that Jordy Nelson is back.
I do too, yeah, because Jordy Nelson's a matchup issue for pretty much any corner in the league with a one-on-one. But here's my thing: obviously, Randall Cobb is going to get that playing time because who's behind him? You got fucking Devontae Adams, piece of shit. I fucking hate that guy. And then you got Ty Montgomery. I mean, really, nobody's going to really challenge him for that wide receiver 2 spot. So I like where you're getting him at. I like that 4th round value on him. I really like that pick, And then for my team, he stands as like my 3rd best wide receiver. So I like that.
He's like one of your flex guys that you put in there.
Pretty much, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna be flexible for me. I like where I got him though.
All right. I know like we didn't draft any of these players, but I want to do some more. We're just gonna. We did half of our players already.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get into some sign, trade, cut players.
Okay.
I mean, these are obviously all guys that are going to be rostered on everyone's team, but if you had to choose between these, like who would you cut, who would you sign, who would you trade?
Okay.
I mean, these are some receivers: T.Y. Hilton, Jeremy Maclin, Brandon Cooks. Sign one, trade one, cut one.
That's a tough one. I think I had to pick out of all of them. I like the quarterback situation in Indy the best because I feel like it's not going to change at all next year. I feel like Andrew Luck's going for he's going to have a really nice rebound year next year. So I'm going to sign T.Y. Hilton, trade Brandon Cooks, and cut Jeremy Maclin.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we would have a difference in this one. I mean, my train of thought was that Luck's back, T.Y. will do a little bit better. So let's sign him, trade Cooks, because I don't really think that Breeze is going to have that good of a year this year. People call me a little bit crazy over the social networks saying that I'm pegging Breeze as a bust. I don't think he's going to necessarily be a bust, but he's not going to produce it with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not
going to return his ADP at all.
Yeah, I mean, I got a comment saying, if you don't like Breeze, fuck you. Well, you know what? I'm telling you why I don't like him, so...
And obviously, Maclin plays on a low-volume pass offense.
Yeah, I just don't like Alex Smith as a quarterback, and I think that Brandon Cooks carries more trade value than Jeremy Maclin, so that's why that's pure and simple the only reason I put Brandon Cooks is the one I would trade.
And I know we kind of touched up on Forte already, but here's another one. Sign one, trade one, cut one. Matt Forte, LaShawn McCoy, or Ryan Matthews. Now keep in mind, Forte and McCoy are kind of late 3rd rounders, and Matthews is an early 6th rounder.
I'm gonna go sign McCoy, trade Forte, and cut Matthews.
I say that again.
Sign McCoy, trade Forte, and cut Matthews.
See, we're worlds apart on this one, man.
Yeah.
We finally got something to disagree about a little bit.
All right.
See, the way I'm looking at this one is I'm not a big McCoy fan this year, so I think that he'd be the one that I would be cutting.
So you would rather trade Matthews?
I'd rather trade Forte, sign Matthews.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
For the value that Matthews is going in the 6th round, I love that. I'm all over that.
I will say that I do like the value, but the thing is with him is the Eagles is just a team that I just do not want to even think about touching next year.
I think that they're going to actually run the ball more.
Well, yeah, especially if Wentz starts. Because then they're gonna rely on getting that run game
I don't
going.
think he starts from the beginning. I think eventually, though, at some point in that season, you will see him on the field. Like Bradford will not be a happy camper about it either. He's gonna cry like a little bitch.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like that's what he seems to be the new theme that he does. Is he cries and moans like a little bitch about everything.
Yeah, it's funny too because the Eagles didn't play into it.
I don't want to compete. Why do I gotta compete?
Yeah, I was like, And then the problem
Just give me the job. Give me the money.
Yeah, well, the problem with Bradford is that he hasn't proven anything in his NFL career, so, I'm really not too sad.
God forbid I gotta earn my job.
Yeah.
Alright, this one, we'll touch on this subject a little bit later, but I want to ask you about it. Actually, we'll touch on it right now since I'm going over it.
Okay.
We got Gordon. That's Melvin Gordon.
Okay.
TJ Yeldon. And Gio Bernard. Cut one, sign one, trade one.
This is a tough one for me, but not really. I'm going to sign Bernard, trade Gordon, and cut Yeldon.
I differ a little bit. I would cut Gordon just because I really am not expecting anything here. He's got the micro fractures in his legs. That's a surgery that usually takes a while for him to come back. I think they're going to work him back slowly after that. I think I would actually trade Bernard, sign Yeldon. I think Yeldon's a nice little stash for where you can get him, like in the 8th round. Really, though? But do you think he's going to get the volume of carries that you need to get points next year? I could see him getting like 10 to 15 touches a game. I envision Jacksonville using Yeldon like they used Bernard. The question is, he's going to be able to get enough touches in the red zone to score some touchdowns, which Ivory's not the most durable back in the world. Like, he gets injured. Well, here's the thing, though. With the development of Blake Bortles and being more of a pass-first offense in my mind, you got Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. With them two trying to get the lion's share of the offense going, and then you got not only Chris Ivory there as the number one back there, and then TJ Yeldon. To me, it just looks like there's too many dynamics that could work itself out back there. I think the Jaguars actually got to start running the ball a little bit more. I think that's what they wanted to do, but they just couldn't do it because all they had was Yeldon. And they had the fucking piece of shit Gerhart. They couldn't do anything inside the 5-yard line. I think they want to run the ball, they just couldn't. Question: do you think this will benefit the Jacksonville receivers in the long run? No, I don't. So I just think that their numbers are going to all go. I think let's put it this way: I see it a lot more likely that Allen Hurns gets 10 touchdowns than Robinson gets 14 again. I don't think Robinson will get 14. Yeah. I think we're the same. I think honestly, Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, I think Robinson will get more yards, but I think as far as touchdowns go, they're going to finish within two or three of each other. I could see Robinson's yardage staying the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's sustainable. But his receptions will go up. Mm-hmm. His touchdowns will go down. I agree. Yeah, he only got like 80 catches last year. He had like 1,400 yards. I see him getting closer to like 90, 95, maybe even 100. Mm-hmm. But his yardage staying right there around the same. And I think his touchdowns will come down. A lot of those touchdowns will go to Ivory. You know what I say? My prediction with Allen Robinson next year is his receptions and his yards will stay pretty close together, pretty similar. But I think those touchdowns are going to go down. I see him getting maybe 10 next year. I think that's a good number for him. All right, here's another one. It's a little more diverse here. Sammy Watkins, Brandon Marshall, Demaryius Thomas. Sign one, trade one, cut one. Hurts my heart on this one. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say sign Watkins, trade Marshall, and cut DT. I hate to say that, but that's how it's shaping out to me. I think Watkins is going to be a real heavy fantasy producer next year, especially as far as touchdowns go. Marshall, I think you're going to get a lot as far, in a trade with him. And DT, like I've said this whole time to you guys, I just don't know. He's a huge question mark. What are we going to get from him? I have been avoiding Marshall and DT in a lot of mock drafts this year. Exactly, and that's my point too. I don't really want anything. I just don't want them. Yeah. There's other players at their positions that I would rather have. But real quick, would you agree with me though that Marshall holds more trade value than Demaryius Thomas, or do you disagree? Man, I just don't like the fact that you don't know who his quarterback is. Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I think they're both really talented. Well, the problem is that they're both on teams
where you don't know who the quarterback's going to be. So it's a real question.
They're both talented.
The only reason I say trade Marshall is because of where people are drafting him. It's a consensus that he's going to have a very productive year next year. I disagree. I don't think he's going to have a very good year next year. Maybe not. Maybe he'll have a good year, but not as much as you're expecting.
He's just not going to do what he did last year. Last year he got close to 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. He ain't doing that again.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to replicate what he did last year. And plus, like we've said a million times, we have no idea. Is it going to be Fitzmagic? Is it going to be fucking Bryce Petty? Is it going to be fucking Geno Smith? We don't fucking know. So.
And I know I asked you this question in our off time.
Mm-hmm.
Cut one, trade one, and sign one. You got Latavius Murray, Lankford, and Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, you know what? And I think I'm still gonna keep my answer that I gave to you. I'm gonna sign Latavius Murray. He proved himself to be a durable back last year. He wasn't flashy, but he got the job done. He was consistent. I'm gonna trade Hyde and then cut Lankford.
So you trade Hyde and cut Lankford?
Yeah.
I said something very similar to that. I really think that Latavius Murray, he's not a guy that's gonna really win you a week. He's just gonna give you those consistent 12, 15 points a week. He's just gonna get within that range. He'll give you 70 yards and 18 carries.
Exactly.
Sometimes he'll score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Hyde also, to me, carries a little bit of an injury risk, too. He missed most of last season. In fact, nearly every game except for one game.
And there's a lot of people out there that still believe in Chip Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in that offense, and they'll love themselves some Carlos Hyde.
Count me out.
I would definitely be my trade candidate out of those three.
Yeah.
And Lankford, I really don't like their backfield's getting crowded. They got Howard that they drafted.
Kadeem Carey,
who they actually love in the red zone. They actually got Jaquiz Rodrigue, who's coming back off of IR, who's a third down back. That's actually one of the better.
I didn't know about that, but I'm glad you brought that up.
So that's another back that's in the fold over there. So they're getting kind of crowded over there. John Fox came out and said it himself. He's like, the hot hand is who's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
That's scary, bro.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's what I didn't like when he was running the Denver offense. You just really didn't know who was going to get the carries, so, we'll see. But, yeah, he favors the hot hand, so I don't like that. I hate when there's even a chance that you could be getting a team that's a running back by committee. So, that I think we're pretty much solid on that one. We agree on that one.
All right, so, through 4 rounds, we'll go back to our draft. Through 4 rounds, my team was AJ Green, Des Bryant. I had CJ Anderson and Matt Forte. And you had David Johnson, Sammy Watkins, Keenan Allen. And you had Randall Cobb through 4 rounds. It was the 5th round pick. You got to pick the 5th round first. Who did you take?
We just talked about him. Latavius Murray. You know what? I think
slow and steady.
We just talked about him. He's a running back that's going to get you consistent numbers. It didn't feel like a forced pick for me because I already had David Johnson, who I know I'm going to get my production from as far as running backs go. So I like the guy that's going to be nice and consistent.
I really like that spot for him that you got right there. You got him in the 5th round. That's a guy that's going to get the majority of the carries on his team.
Yeah,
you're getting him in the 5th round. That's great value.
Oh, I love the value. You can't really complain about that.
Who else back there does he have to worry about carries from? The rookie, they got picked up Washington.
Yeah, Washington. There's really not a whole lot of competition. The only other one I was really mulling over was another guy we talked about, which was Ryan Matthews. And I like Latavius Murray a lot more than I like Ryan Matthews. So,
I mean, I know he definitely has the speed to hit that potential breakaway run to get you those 80-yard touchdown runs. We really didn't see that a lot last year. But they did try to improve their offensive line a little bit. Maybe
I like it.
Their offense takes another step forward the next year.
I love, and you know this about me already, Johnny, but I love backfields where there's not a whole lot of competition. And Latavius Murray, there's basically nothing as far as competition
I think
goes.
I do think that was a great find in the 5th round. Unfortunately for me, I was writing down names in the 5th round. I was not going to take Drew Brees in the 5th round. I hate that pick.
You got to live with it.
Yeah,
Let's hope you don't do that on the real draft.
I was actually going to pick myself a Ryan Matthews. He was there.
He was there, yeah. He was still there after I picked.
So I picked him, but I also wanted to pick my next pick. Is one of my favorite picks I had on the board is Devontae Parker, first pick, 6th round. I think Devontae Parker is going to have a big season. If you look at, we were talking about this earlier. Mm-hmm. Adam Gase and his big receivers, he's done some magical things over there with Demaryius Thomas when he was in Denver. He got him, I think, a 1,500-yard season, like 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Then when Alshon Jeffrey was with Alshon Jeffrey in Chicago, him and Brandon Marshall both had big seasons.
Yeah.
And now he's moving on from Chicago, going over to Miami. I want to see what he can do with that X receiver.
Do you think he cuts into Jarvis Landry's or any other receiver in Miami's production? Do you think? Actually, my real question is: do you think that he is a solid number 2 side by side with Jarvis Landry?
Honestly, I think that he's going to be the receiver that's going to lead them in touchdowns. I don't know if he'll lead them in yards or receptions. He'll lead them in touchdowns for sure. Very
bold prediction there, but I like it, and I didn't think about it until you brought it up today. The amount of production that you could get out of him with the fact that Adam Gase is the offensive coordinator there. Head coach.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about any of that, and then you brought that up today, and I really like that pick, actually. I love that value for him. If he ends up panning out like that, you just got insane value for that guy.
I definitely feel that at the very least I got myself a wide receiver too, and he's my flex. It gives you flexibility. I also never mind. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I like that. It gives you some flexibility there at that flex position. And also, if you're in 3 receiver sets, that's a great wide receiver 3. So I was happy. I was happy with Devontae Parker in the 6th round. Let's see. After the 6th round was your pick.
Yeah, that was me. And I ended up taking a guy that we said that we would both cut, and that was Jay Langford. So.
And Jeremy Langford. You got him in the 6th round. How do you feel about this pick?
Well, you know what? I felt like it might have been a little bit of a reach, but with the guys that I was seeing around him, think about my thought process here. I already had 3 receivers in Sammy Watkins, Keenan Allen, and Randall Cobb. So when I'm looking at this pick, I'm like, well, I don't really need a wide receiver. John Brown was the was another guy I was mulling over at that point. But I just, you know what, Langford represents a flex position for me. If he does end up being the guy in the Chicago backfield, you're getting him at pretty good value. So that was my thought process there was, you get a guy, he's going to, if he does end up, getting the lion's share of the carries back there, he's going to get about, 15 plus carries a game, or he could potentially, and then possibly getting a touchdown,
John Fox really doesn't like rookie running backs either, so that's one good thing working for Langford's favor is that Howard's there and he's not going to really trust him right away.
Exactly, yeah, and I was going to say, well, that's a good thing that Langford's not a rookie now, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what were you thinking tight end there at all in the 6th round?
Kind of, but not really. I was thinking tight end, but then I was like, you know what? You still got guys, I'll go into this a little bit later. We got guys like Travis Kelce, a couple other guys that were going to be available later, even ASJ. I think even Antonio Gates is available at that point. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, so I was thinking tight end, but then I was also like, hey, maybe I can get one next round. So I felt like Langford was a risk-reward pick. If it really worked out for me, I was going to get that production and everything like that. But then if I didn't get that, I'm really not losing out a whole bunch. I liked where I drafted him, though.
Well, I guess it really didn't hurt you not taking a tight end because of who you got in your 7th round pick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was really happy about.
Who'd you get in the 7th round?
Travis Kelce.
Yeah. How do you feel about that tight end pick right there?
I mean, I love it. I mean, the value is amazing.
It's a lot better of a value this year than it was last year, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had to grab him in, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the third or the fourth round.
No, it was a little bit later than that. It was like the fifth round. It was still like early fifth round, like late fourth round. Like, I felt like I was a little bit early.
Yeah, I did too. And you know what? And he did that. He had a fast start to the season. Everybody was like, whoa, holy shit. And then all of a sudden he just kind of fell off. So, you know, you never know. But I think
at least this year you know what you're getting. Like, you know what you're getting into. Be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, and even if this guy, if he can get me maybe a touchdown every 2 games or so, or hell, even, you know, he's a guy that I think is good for about 7 to 10 points week in, week out. So if you can get that, maybe he'll have some off games where he gives you a huge goose egg. But you know what? I like that in the 7th round, though. I really like that pick.
My 7th round pick, I actually decided to go as tight end as well. I went and got myself a Kobe Fleener. I was like, because I was looking at the tight ends that were there. I was like, that's the last tight end that I like at this point. If I don't get this tight end right now, I'm gonna be waiting until probably the end of the draft to get my tight end.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get myself a Kobe Fleener. It's at the back end of the 7th round.
Great value.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's not great value, but it's not terrible value. It's all right. I was like, I could live with that pick.
Mm-hmm.
I figured he's playing with the Saints this year. They do have a lot of production at the tight end position. And look what they did with Ben Watson's old ass last year. He got like 800 yards and like 8 touchdowns. Like, he was very productive in that tight end position.
Yeah, the only thing is I felt like in Indy he wasn't physical enough. He didn't use his size to his advantage, and I hope he does that in New Orleans because they're going to be counting on him a lot.
Well, another thing is you don't have to worry about Dwayne Allen anymore either.
Yeah, well, Dwayne Allen's a fucking pussy, so fuck him.
Less competition over there in New Orleans. And then I followed that back up on the swing. I had the very next pick. I got myself a Gio Bernard at the beginning of the 8th round. And you know how I feel about Gio Bernard. I feel like he's one of the better flex plays in the league. Even last year, he served me well.
You definitely do worse.
I mean, in the 8th round, like, here's the tight ends I was going up against for Fleener. Like, all their tight ends that were still left on the board when I picked Fleener. You had Antonio Gates, ASJ. You had Jimmy Graham, Dwayne Allen, and Jason Witten were the next best tight ends besides Kobe Fleener. So you see why I went there.
You know, I can see why you did. Me personally, I probably would have leaned more towards, even though he's aging, I would have went towards an Antonio Gates or maybe an ASJ more than I would have liked Fleener.
My thing about a lot of these other tight ends that were still on the board is that these are guys I could have probably waited to like the double-digit rounds to pick them, too. So
that would be nice, too, yeah. If you could wait that late for Gates, I mean, that's insane value. So.
Besides Bernard, there's other guys I guess I could have gone towards. Like I could have got a Matt Jones from Washington or a Amir Abdullah. You got to start considering in that range over there. Chris Ivory, who I actually don't mind having a Chris Ivory. I actually feel like we were talking about this on the offline. I was comparing Jacksonville's backfield with Cincinnati's backfield. How
that's
Ivory,
1-2 punch.
Like Ivory could be that Jeremy Hill, and Yeldon could be the Gio Bernard. I feel like that all backs could be very similarly used this year.
I like your thinking on that one, and that would be great if it turns out that way. But for me, I'm more of a traditional mindset, and I tend to stay away from crowded backfields or out backfields that I think are going to have a little more competition than other backfields.
Stashing Yeldon away in like the 8th or 9th round, and he's going to be on your bench. Stashing him away like that. That's
not bad.
That's not a bad move.
I don't like that. I don't like that either. I like that too because of the fact we all know from last year Ivory can be a little bit injury prone. So if you got him, bam, you got the guy in Jacksonville right there.
Or just think about last year how it played out. You had in Atlanta, you had Devontae Freeman and you had
Tevin Coleman. And
they're both getting drafted in like that 8th, 9th round last year. Mm-hmm. And then the people that just took a chance and picked one of them and picked Freeman, they're like, oh, wow, I hit the lottery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was literally like a lottery pick, you know. So, yeah, let's go into the 8th round here. This is the last pick that we got to do. What the fuck? Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. All right. That's why we're amateurs. Okay, so 8th round, I picked a bit ahead of you. I went, and I didn't have
You picked after me.
That's right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Who'd you get in the 8th round?
Andy Dalton. So I was, here I had 3 running backs, and I had 3 receivers, and I had a tight end. So at this point, I'm thinking if I can draft a value quarterback, I'm going to grab him.
What other quarterbacks are on the board do you know?
I don't remember. Carson Palmer nearly slipped to me in the 7th, and if he did, I wouldn't have taken Kelsey. I would have taken Carson Palmer in the 7th. I think that's a really good round.
Yeah, that's
a really good value.
That's a good round to take him.
Yeah, and he nearly did, but then after he didn't, I was like, all right, let's get tight end, because I saw Kelsey fall to me. But Andy Dalton, I'm liking that pick because, like I said, I already picked my top 3 receivers, my top 3 running backs, and then I even had a stud tight end too. So at this point, I'm thinking, if I can get a good value to quarterback, I'm going to take him. And I might have been reaching just a little bit for Andy Dalton, but I like this pick, especially where I got him at compared to what everybody else is taking.
Yeah, it looks like you got Dalton around early, which isn't terrible. If you really like a guy, you're going to take him a little bit early.
Yeah, well, and I was really judging off of what my team was already consisting out of, and I probably could have got it, running back. But the thing is, I had guys like Marvin Jones, who I'm not too high on, that were sitting there right next to
you said some kind of like guy that's a number 2 receiver on his team.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know what? And Andy Dalton, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to give you fucking... he could potentially be a top 10 quarterback, especially last year.
According to Fantasy Football Calculator, there's 2 other guys that are going like they're right around the same ADP as Andy Dalton. You get Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers. Do you like either of those 2 guys more than Andy Dalton? Or
who was the other one? You said Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning.
You know what? Honestly, I like those 2 a lot. I really do. But I think out of all 3 of those, I like, I think Eli Manning. I think I did reach a little bit on this one, but I like Eli Manning the most because I think you can get him later. But the way my team was shaping up, I really wanted Andy Dalton right there with that pick. I felt like that was going to be a great one, possibly put up top 10 quarterback numbers next year. So I wasn't ashamed of this pick at all.
Yeah. So our through those 8 rounds, we only did 8 rounds. So through those 8 rounds, this is what our teams look like. Your team was at quarterback. You had Andy Dalton. At running backs, you had David Johnson, Latavius Murray. Wide receivers, you had Keenan Allen, Sammy Watkins. In the flex, you could have put Cobb or Langford there. And at tight end, you had Kelsey. That's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all, I think so.
My team that I had, I did not pick Drew Brees. I don't really care for Drew Brees too much. At this point, I probably
would try to trade him.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, if I didn't choose Brees, I probably would have picked, like I said, like a Ryan Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I had Drew Brees at quarterback, C.J. Anderson, Matt Forte at running back, A.J. and Dez for my wide receivers. At flex, I had either Devontae Parker or Gio Bernard, tight end. I had Kobe Fleener. I mean, I think I'm a little bit weaker at running back, I'd say, but I mean, those are both guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, so that's why I like it from a PPR setting.
Yeah.
Is there any players that you would look to start targeting, like in the little bit later rounds? Like I got this pulled up right here. In the 9th round, you got like players like Charles Sims, D'Angelo Williams, Stephon Diggs, Travis Benjamin. If you wanted to handcuff Ezekiel Elliott, you'd have to do that in the 9th round with Darren McFadden. Like you said, Marvin Jones is looming around there. You're not really a big biter on him.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're still looking at quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Andy Dalton, they all
that was
might
the
be
biggest
there.
point I wanted to bring up was that's the part where I really felt like I might have reached a little bit because I feel like a round later Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers would have been available still. So those are guys you could probably get for some really good value there.
So guys I've been targeting in a lot of my drafts. I've been targeting Derek Carr, in the later rounds.
Yeah, I love that pick too. There's nothing possible about that pick.
I've been targeting even a Tony Romo. Well, I've been matching up a Tony Romo with a Andy Dalton.
Tony Romo, man, coming off the surgery just kind of scares me a little bit. I really just if I can get him at really good value, maybe. But
I'm definitely if I'm drafting Tony Romo, I'm definitely drafting the quarterback the very next round. Like have another decent quarterback to go with him.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way last year with drafting Tony Romo as my primary quarterback. I just,
I mean, he currently has an ADP of 10th round, 7th pick. There's not a whole lot of running back talent at this point in the draft, though. What I've noticed is, like the 8th and 9th round was a big running back run. A bunch of running backs just come flying off the board. I mean, listen to some of these names that they're all going to come flying off the board. You got like a Frank Gore, T.J. Yeldon, Carlos Williams, Theo Riddick, Rashad Jennings, Charles Sims, D'Angelo Williams, Darren McFadden, Tevin Coleman. They're all going like in a row almost.
Yeah.
There'll be some receivers sprinkled in there, maybe a quarterback or two, but like it's mostly running backs being taken in the 8th and 9th round.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, look at even a receiver. There's some nice values. Like here later in the draft, like would you mind having later in the draft getting like a Willie Snead or a Bashard Perriman or maybe taking a chance on a rookie like a Treadwell or a Coleman.
I think out of all we named, I think I like Bashard Perriman a lot. He's a guy that tends to get slipped and cracks. Even this morning when you were talking about it, I totally forgot that he even existed and. I'm like, I love that. Yeah, that's
the only issue I have with Baltimore is who is going to be their number one receiver. Is it going to be Steve Smith, Rashard Perriman, Kamar Aiken? Kamar Aiken had 900 yards last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Who is it going to be?
I think if you want to say who has the most upside, I think it's Rashard Perriman. But if you want to talk about guys, who were productive last year, like Kamar Aiken, I had him on my fantasy team last year. And it was hard to predict when he would have a good game. And then there was, you all, on every team you had a lot of starters. You were like, I kind of want to start him before I start him. But Kamar Aiken ended up turning in a pretty productive season last year. So,
I mean, I'm sure they're all getting taken in a similar area. I haven't really located Steve Smith yet.
Steve Smith Sr.
Oh, Steve Smith. He's getting taken in the 8th round. You got Bashard Perriman taken in the 11th round. And
I think is kind of over the hill.
And then you got Kamar Aiken in the 12th round. I mean, you kind of want to draft him a little bit later, right?
Yeah,
I do think in Baltimore's offense they threw the ball 670 times last year. That's a lot of passes.
Yeah, it is.
I think that if they do anything similar, they could support like 2 receivers, like fantasy wise.
Is Matt Schaub still the backup in Baltimore?
I think it's I don't think it's Matt Schaub anymore. I think it's someone else. I'm trying to think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I know. I know it's random, but Jesus,
that guy has to have a record for like most pick sixes
ever. Yeah, in the history of the league, I do not trust that at all.
Yeah, I remember last year, like my dad's like, yeah, Matt Schaub's on the waiver wire. I was like, yeah, you should stay there.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I think everybody kind of overhyped it too. When Brock Osweiler too, I was like, I'm staying away from that. I don't know what I'm going to get with that.
I think I kind of like Rashard Perriman out of the most. Although I have been drafting him a lot in like a lot of leagues, like 12th round.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been getting him a little bit later than his ADP, so that's pretty good. I mean, even in like some of these later rounds, you got like. A lot of handcuffs start coming off the board. Like you got yourself like you had a Darren McFadden earlier over there. You got Bilal Powell right there in the late 10th round. Kendrick West in the 11th round. Darren Sproles for Ryan Matthews. Like this is kind of like. Is there any like handcuffs that you're looking at that you like?
I like Kendrick West a lot because I feel like out of everybody, I feel like Jamal Charles is some guy I'm staying away from, and if he gets injured again, like I think he will, Kendrick West is the guy to have. Even though the only problem with him is that you don't know who's going to get the lion's share. Is it going to be him or is it going to be Spencer Ware? You don't know.
I think they know what Spencer Ware is a guy that's going to
more goal line.
He's going to get you those goal line touchdowns. Like, I think overall, I like Charmander a little bit better.
Yeah, Charmander West.
Yeah, he spits that fire.
He's got hot fire. Yeah.
I mean, some of the other handcuffs that I like, I do like Bilal Powell a lot. I also like who do you call it? He's a less sexier pick, but the Pain Train.
Oh yeah.
I think I jumped the gun a little bit last year.
Yeah, Curtis Payne.
Jonathan Stewart did not get hurt until like later on in the season, but I thought it was gonna happen much sooner. I was like, ooh, Artis Payne, gotta draft him, man. I think it's still a guy that you want to highlight. He's a guy that's going like real late. You can get him like 14th, 15th round.
Yeah, that is good value for him too. I mean especially the handcuff.
He's a guy that can jump in there and just be an RB2. I like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tevin Coleman's probably one of the best handcuffs in the league.
Which is another reminder, everybody, if you do get running backs early, make sure you handcuff them in the later rounds.
I mean, you guys learned that obviously hard the last year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I definitely learned it the hard way a couple times. The
question is, who would you handcuff C.J. Anderson with? Would you handcuff him with Hillman or Booker?
You know what? And on that one, I know you asked me this earlier, but it's a really hard decision because, you know, the obvious choice right now is Hillman, but Devontae Booker looks very motivated this year, and, you know, he could end up being the number 2 guy in Denver, so you never know. But he said he wanted to take somebody's job this year. Who knows? It could be C.J. Anderson, it could be Hillman, you know. But I think Hillman's. I mean, I think C.J. Anderson's going to get the lion's share this year. But I think that one's a crapshoot, honestly.
I kind of feel like Devontae Booker's more of like the sexier pick, the more appealing pick out of the two, and I feel like you have less to lose if you pick him. Like, if you pick him, oh well, what do you know? He didn't end up getting a starting job.
You drop him, pick somebody up.
He ends up being the third string running back. Oh well, I guess I just cut it. I drafted him in the 14th round.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah, he's waiver bait anyways, so fuck him.
I'm just gonna name off some running back values that maybe currently right now they're pretty much the only guy that's in there, but they're kind of going kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got let me move up here a little bit out of the 11th round. You got guys like a Ryan Matthews is going right now 6th round. I mean, there's not very much competition going on over there in Philadelphia. I feel like that's an excellent pick in the 6th round.
I think it's an excellent pick in the 6th round. The only thing that scares me about him is he's injury prone. He's proved that in his years in San Diego. Last year,
he still didn't get a lot of carries last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did have DeMarco Murray. I think if DeMarco Murray was in the picture, he would have got a fine amount of carries. The problem is, though, he missed 3 or 4 weeks with a concussion last year. So that's my problem with him is just the injury proneness. But I do like him at that value, though.
And you got I got Jay Ajayi getting in the 6th round.
He's actually somebody I like more because same thing, doesn't have a lot of competition.
Another injury-prone guy, though.
Yes, injury-prone, but not as far as in the pros. At Boise State, he was injury-prone a little bit, but I like him a lot more because the little bit that we did see about him last year, he was a lot flashier than Ryan Matthews.
I think that's what hurt his draft value a lot coming into the NFL. That's why he fell to the 5th rounds because of his injury problems. So if he stays healthy, I could see him being a nice little asset over there.
I just feel like he's the sexier pick right there at that point. If you're thinking about taking Ryan Matthews, if you're drafting right there and you're accepting that injury risk, I'd rather have a Jay Ajayi than I would a Ryan Matthews.
Are we excited about Baltimore's backfield at all? It seems like they got a lot of guys that are going late as far as running backs go.
You know what? Can I just not comment on this one? I really don't. I'm not excited about it at all. I don't even know. I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, Justin Forsett. He's kind of old. I'm really excited about that. You got Buck Allen. They drafted also Kenneth Dixon.
I think that's the biggest travesty in the NFL these days is that you got a guy named Buck Allen, even though what's his real name? Javaris. How do you get Buck out of Javaris? I have no fucking idea. So I don't know.
Buck 1, Buck 2, Buck 3, Buck 4.
Yeah, or as Lil Wayne says, Buck and Buck-Fuckerin and all that shit. So I don't. Anybody that has Buck as a first name, I don't trust him. So
Buck again. So we're not excited about Baltimore's backfield at all.
Not at all.
What about let's see, Carlos Hyde? He's the only guy over there in San Francisco. Really, he's going in like the later in the fourth. He's like a fourth round pick. That's not bad for a starting running back, right?
I think so too, but you were saying a lot of people have faith in this Chip Kelly offense and everything.
But
don't count me in that audience. I don't like the Baltimore backfield.
I was saying,
sorry, not Baltimore, San Francisco. I don't like that San Francisco backfield at all. In fact, as a team, I just want to stay the hell away from San Francisco.
Last year, I was staying the hell away from the Eagles, and this year, I'm staying away from San Francisco. There's a trend.
Yeah, well, I'm staying away from both of them. Maybe I could see myself drafting Ryan Matthews, but I it's not very likely. So I'm just saying. And you know another guy I was looking at in the draft that was going way too high was Jordan Matthews. I don't like that at all.
Did you notice what he was going on when he went in our mock draft? Do you know?
I think he went third.
You in the third round?
I think he went in the third round.
Yeah, I had to make the decision of drafting him in the third round. A couple of mock drafts, I easily passed over him. What about how do you feel about a Matt Jones as a value running back in like the fifth round?
He could potentially be. All reports in Washington indicate that he's going to be the guy next year. So
sometimes,
but he was pretty. I mean, he had to compete with Alfred Morris and some other. And I can't remember his name.
Alfred Morris is gone. They got Chris Thompson.
Yeah, Chris Thompson. Yeah, well, he had to compete with those two last year. But what I'm saying is, this year he seems like the primary guy. All reports indicate he will be. So as long as he can be productive,
I'd just like to see him just cut down on his fumbles, like secure that ball, earn your job. Like, I mean, sometimes opportunity is better than talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's getting the opportunity to get the ball like 250 times.
I mean, and if you're getting the ball that many times and you're not being productive, then you should just be brought in the back alley and shot because, you should be. I could be productive. No, I'm just kidding.
We already touched on Jonathan Stewart a little bit. Obviously, Melvin Gordon's going in the sixth round. I'm not a big fan of him. I know you like him a little bit better.
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah.
I like him, but I just, I don't trust him. So.
I mean, I think he's going to score a touchdown this year.
Yeah, hopefully one. I like him, but I don't trust him on my fantasy team.
There's not a whole lot of running backs getting the ball over there in Detroit. You got Amir Abdullah right here in the seventh round.
Yeah, I don't like that pick at all.
You don't feel like he could be the guy over there in Detroit?
I feel like he could be the guy. For next year, though, I don't trust him. Last year was a train wreck with him. I don't even want to talk about it.
I thought Detroit was going to try to add like a running back. I do think they added Stephen Ridley, but that's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, that's not scaring anybody.
Amir Abdullah, I mean, he's got nice value because of there's no one else there. It's just how productive he's going to be in that role. The question, they did bring in a lot of offensive linemen to shore up that line a little bit.
Yeah, we did a draft on Yahoo. I did see him. He was at the top of the rankings at one point, and I was just like, "Fuck that!" And then I think I ended up going to. You said he's going to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was when I picked Langford. I liked Langford more than Abdullah too.
Yeah, I don't blame on that pick actually.
Yeah, I like him more than him. I like him more than John Brown. I like him.
And this is funny. I mean, I know we've talked about his name a few times on the show before. Frank Gore back in the 7th, early 8th. There is still no competition over there for carries in Indianapolis.
I mean, he's a quality pick if you can get him for good value. That's all I got to say about Frank Gore.
Indianapolis did draft a bunch of offensive linemen. They're trying to make their line better. Hopefully they can help their run game out a little bit because their run game was pretty bad last year.
It was. I mean, if anything, it'll protect Andrew Luck. I don't see them not being a pass-first team. But, yeah, I think Gore is going to be maybe a lesser Latavius Murray where he's going to get that production for you. But,
do you see him getting 1,000 yards this year?
Yes.
You do see him, okay.
I say either he's going to get slightly below it or right at.
He got slightly below last year.
I don't think he'll surpass. Okay, so let me rephrase. I don't think he'll surpass 1,000 yards, but I think he'll get really close or right at 1,000 yards, maybe a little bit more.
How many touchdowns has he getting?
No more than 10.
I say about 7, 6 or 7.
I think that's a good number. Yeah.
Let's see if there's any other nice late round values here. How do you feel about Marcus Wheaton as a number 2 receiver over in Pittsburgh.
I don't know if I see him as maybe a number 2. I mean, obviously with the injury or with the suspension.
On his team, he's going to be the number 2 receiver, or is he going to...
No, with Martavis Bryant being suspended all year.
Yeah.
I think it could happen.
You got some other receivers over there. You got Darius Hayward-Bay.
Yeah, that's the problem, though.
You got Sammy Coates. I heard some noise about Sammy Coates.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, he could be a productive member. So yeah, you could take him, and with the expectation that he'd be the wide receiver too. I mean, you gotta love the situation he's walking into with Big Ben at quarterback.
I mean, according to fantasy football calculators, Marcus Wheaton's going at the back end of the 9th. Do you rather wait at the back end of the 9th and have Marcus Wheaton, or the back end of the 10th and have Willie Snead?
I think I'd rather have Marcus Wheaton.
See, I think I'd rather have Willie Snead. I know they both play on pass-happy offenses.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I just think Willie Snead has more... I think there's a higher chance that Willie Snead is a 1,000-yard receiver than... Marcus
Wheaton?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think the likelihood that Marcus Wheaton steps in that number 2 role this year in Pittsburgh?
You know, he's had all the opportunities in the world to be that number 2 receiver, and they just keep drafting guys after him.
So you're saying he's just kind of he's now not even a prospect anymore. He's a has-been.
I think he's got first dibs at being the number 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets beat out over there.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be exciting when we do our training camp shows and what we're going to end up seeing.
Yeah, dude,
it's going to be there's going to be a lot of great competitions this year, I think.
Yeah, bro, I'm looking to go to some training camps this year. I want to go to San Diego's. I want to go to Arizona's.
I want to try to go to the Seattle one because I'll be in Bremerton. Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can go to a Seahawks training camp, see what I see up there.
Yeah, dude, give me a report on how some of those rookie Seattle running backs look.
Yeah,
you won't see Thomas Rolls doing anything, right?
Yeah. I don't think he'll be ready to go for training camp just yet. But it will be interesting to see. I'm more interested in the receiver dynamic that's going on up there. With Doug Baldwin, obviously coming off a very productive year last year, and then you got Tyler Lockett. What are we going to see from him next year? So who knows? I think that it's a pretty exciting team to watch.
Is, what kind of team are they going to be? Are they going to be a running team? Are they going to be a passing team? Some kind of good balance between the two? I feel like
it's going to be more passing next year, just because the fact that Marshawn Lynch isn't just a replaceable guy.
You heard some chatter about him possibly coming back.
I mean, if there was a guy that was going to do it, I would say it would be him. But I don't see it happening. It's all hocus pocus right now.
Some of his teammates were saying that, like Sherman.
Yeah, you know what? And then this is Richard Sherman we're talking about. This is a guy that just talks out of his ass like 90% of the time. So who knows? We'll see. I am 99.9% sure that he's done. But you know what? If there was a guy to do it, it would be Marshawn, because this guy has proved to be a fucking enigma his entire NFL career. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at some more deep darts. That's what I call them, as deep darts here. These twilight rounds,
or a shot in the dark.
Yeah. You do have Darius Hayward-Bay in the 14th round. I wouldn't draft him there, probably. I probably would just leave him on the bench, or leave him in the free agency. But I mean, you got a Chris Hogan in the 14th round.
He's a guy I actually really like. He could be a potential, like, a really big sleeper in my eyes in New England, because Julian Edelman coming off that injury, I think he could easily overtake Danny Amendola for that number 2, number 3 spot. So I really think that he will be productive next year. I don't see him eclipsing 1,000 yards. I don't see him doing anything crazy with touchdowns. But I do see him getting like 5, probably about 5 touchdowns next year. Probably about like 500-600 yards.
You think he's going to supplant himself in that number 2 role?
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I think that I might take him with a late round, fucking just my last pick, just a shot in the dark, because I think that he could take that number 2 spot.
What I want you to say what you probably think your deepest sleeper is this year. Like, this is a guy that you can get super late.
You know what? I haven't really thought a lot about this. I do like Chris Hogan. I'm actually glad you brought him up because I did think that he was a very deep sleeper on a lot of people's lists. Anquan Bolden's going pretty late. We don't know what's going on with him, but
we don't even know who he's going to play for yet.
Exactly, but I do think
it's going to be somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's hard. Who do you think your biggest sleeper is next year?
Oh man, there's some guys that I do like. Obviously, I do like Joe Flacco. I told you about his schedule that I really like. His schedule that he gets to go against this year. It's a guy that if I have to take a second quarterback, like I'm looking right towards his way. Also, he's not really that late, but also another second quarterback that I like to look at is Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
he has a great schedule to start out the year.
I agree.
I really like myself. So there's quite a bit of tight ends back here that you could get, like a Charles Clay in like the 13th round. But I'm talking about out of real, if you're just talking about a receiver or a running back. I mean, what if I know you're really high on David Johnson, but what if he falls flat on his face? Because he only got that small sample size. What if Chris Johnson just takes control?
That could happen too. I mean, that's one of the risks you're running. So you draft David Johnson in the first round. You better be drafting Chris Johnson.
I really don't think anyone's talking about Chris Johnson, really. I
don't think so either. And I don't think he deserves to be talked about right now. But at the same time, I think if you grab him with a late pick, you get him, you handcuff David Johnson. You're still. I really think that's where his value sits right there. Maybe, maybe running back 3 numbers, but I'm not really seeing anything special out of there. Maybe just I see him just as a David Johnson handcuff. That's it.
I mean, I think he was like number 5 in the league in rushing at one point last year.
He was, yeah. He was very productive, and that was partly because, as you know, Bruce Arians doesn't like rookies. So I think that was the only thing that was benefiting him. He was playing behind a really great offensive line, but David Johnson's the starter behind that really good offensive line next year. So I'm looking at David Johnson just being an absolute monster next year for PPR.
Yeah. Did you hear about what Jeff Fisher said? Jeff Fisher said that he thinks Tavon Austin can get 100 catches.
I doubt it.
I was thinking about this when he said this. I was like, you're probably the only one that thinks he can do that, man.
I don't believe it at all.
I mean, Jeff Fisher's had a receiver catch over 70 passes in years.
I can't even remember the last one that did it.
I mean, think about all the shitty receivers that he's had.
Yeah.
He's a guy that loves to go 8 and 8. He's the epitome of average.
I think my biggest sleeper next year is Stedman Bailey. What do you think? He's going to come back from 2 gunshots to the head.
Didn't he say he wants to return?
It sounds crazy to me too, but yeah, that's the plan, I guess.
I kind of wanted to go into this a little bit. I don't know how much you got into any of these rookies that are coming up and coming. Is there any rookie receivers that you're looking at?
I think the one that I'm the most high on, which isn't saying much, I like to consider myself a little Bruce Arians when I look at rookies here. I don't like him at all. I don't like him to start for my fantasy team either. But Josh Doxson, I think, is my favorite.
You think you could do some damage over there in Washington?
I think so. I think, assuming that Kirk Cousins has a good season next year, I think he'll be productive. I think he'll make a name for himself next year. I like his speed upside the most out of anybody. I don't really like Laquan Treadwell a whole lot.
I hate that. I just don't. I don't like that landing spot.
I don't either. Yeah, Minnesota is kind of just. That's not.
I just think he's going to get so underused there, man.
Yeah, I think he's a wasted pick there. Another thing too is, I think Ezekiel Elliott's going way too high. We don't know what we're going to get from this guy.
He's creeping into the first round, man.
I know. Yeah, that's what I don't like about him.
I was obviously showing you a lot of the teams that I was, because I did a lot of picks from the 12th spot, and there's a couple of teams here where Ezekiel Elliott would fall to me, and I was like, well, I'm going to pick him just to see what my team looks like. And I didn't really like a lot of the teams that I picked when I did that.
Yeah, I don't like that pick either.
I felt like I was chasing the rest of the draft. I was just chasing to replenish what I didn't get.
Yeah, I just do not like where he's going at all. What about you? Which rookie are you least looking forward to next year?
I'm least looking forward to?
Yeah.
Okay, well, obviously we both agree that I don't really like Treadwell very much.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of rookie running backs that I really care for too much. I kind of wouldn't mind picking up like a Howard later on to back up Langford.
Right.
Probably my favorite one. I have a couple of them. I do like myself a Sherling from the Giants. You think he's going to fill in that number 2 wide receiving role behind Beckham, so that's nice. I think he can do some damage there. I do think that Doxson can do some damage as well. I know I surprisingly quietly like myself Corey Coleman too.
Oh.
I mean, he's playing in Cleveland. Somebody's got to catch the ball there, dude. Somebody does. Somebody's going to catch passes. They're going to be down. They're going to be throwing. He's the number 1 receiver.
I like your thinking, but I just, you know what? Cleveland's on our team where I just, put him aside.
He's another receiver that he's going to be a bench stash. He's not going to be one of your starting receivers.
Right, of course. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe strike gold. He's worth a flyer. Maybe.
I do think I like Doxson a little bit more though.
Yeah, I like the speed up side more on Doxson.
Obviously, we don't really got to worry about any rookie tight ends. Rookie quarterbacks, I don't really see too much to it. Either one of those being too much of a impact this year. Wentz, who I think might eventually step into that starting role. I don't think so quite right away, but that's not a guy I'm really looking at. On the other hand, you got I know Roll's favorite guy, Jared Goff. I'm
not high on him at all next year. I'm sorry.
You got to think that he's going to step into the starting role. But yeah, I just don't know how successful he's going to be. He got Tavon Austin to throw to.
Yeah, well, and not only the lack of receivers, but he's going to. What system are the Rams going to use? Are they going to try to develop him as an under center quarterback? Or are they going to operate the shotgun offense?
They almost have to. Are you going to build your team around Goff, or are you going to build it around Gurley?
You have to build it around Gurley.
Gurley's, I think, a better athlete than he is.
Exactly, and that's my point, too, is, we saw what happened with DeMarco Murray and the offense Philadelphia was operating. If they try to operate the shotgun system in St. Louis, I'm sorry, not St. Louis, Los Angeles now, are they gonna? I feel like he's gonna be just as unsuccessful as DeMarco Murray was last year. But if he can somehow develop into an under-center quarterback, maybe get some receivers he can throw to. I feel like
first and foremost, I think it's receivers.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that one. It's the biggest.
But I think this is these kind of shows. I want to do more of these kind of shows more often. Maybe we could actually do one live. I'd like to see something like that. We have our show during our mock draft. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we should do one next time.
The only thing about Yahoo, one doing it on Yahoo is they only give you 30 seconds to pick, so you really can't talk about it too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to do one.
But yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be something that we can get into in the future. Is there anything else that you want to add on to?
No, I really don't. I think this is a good show. We pretty much covered everything. I think we even have covered a lot of the deep sleepers, the obscure pickups. So I'm really satisfied with how this one turned out.
The thing is, you gotta be vigilant. What I prefer, what I like to do, write down your own ranking system. And you draw lines through those ranking systems of different tiers that you have. So once you get towards the bottom half of that tier, and it's coming up to your pick, you got to make a decision. Do I want to pick the guy at the bottom of this tier, or I just want to pick at another position that's more valuable at that certain time?
Exactly, yeah. So it's all a bunch of picking and choosing, guesswork. But if I drafted today, I think I would be very satisfied with the team I drafted. So
yeah, I was gonna go over other teams that I picked from the 12th spot, but I think I'll just leave those to my leisure.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm really, really sorry that we did not make this a live show today. We do plan on doing one here in the future. So look out for that. We are on some different outlets now. We're on Podbean. Just look us up to Fifth Down. We should pop right up. Check us out on Twitter at the Fifth Down FF. That's our username. Check us out. Follow us. Talk shit to us. I'm all for a good debate. So that'll do it for today's show. Shouts out to the UNB network for putting us on their website. We're greatly appreciated for that. And we will see you again mid-time next week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll get together and we'll do another show and we'll let you guys know when we're doing it.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna try to keep on building off this draft strategy, and we'll get into more depth and more analytics. We'll get more data to talk about too. So
exactly.
Yeah, just keep with us. You're now exiting the Fifth Down show. Peace out. Have a good weekend.
See you later.